Stone bridges up there where those fountains are. In fact, I think those fountains bracket the stone bridge. And this building here, the new one with the columns, is the new Archaeological and History Museum. I don't know what this next building is. This will be an impressive building. Don't know what that one is, but it's impressive enough to justify its own, what I think is going to be a pedestrian bridge, maybe for bicycles also. It also ranks sufficient to have its own bridge, and will probably rank as one of the great looking buildings on Earth, in the classical style at least. Opposite this entire bank of new buildings are banks of restaurants and bars. So this fence will come down, this will all be improved. This walkway down here will become a bike path completed. Don't know what those extensions of land will be, but you can see there'll be something, because there are planting of trees already there. And that's probably going to be the grade somewhere just below the top of those styrofoam sheets. So that should be a very interesting feature. And as I look at it closely, it looks like there are going to be some little mini bays here. So it's possible that there will be like wharf side, and that they'll dam this to the point where there's little docks, and maybe little boats will ply this section of the river somehow. And Jong said that these bridges will also contain sculptures like the Prague Bridge, the famous old Prague Bridge does. It should be a pretty impressive sight. When Jong and I were walking across the stone bridge earlier this morning, we wondered at what those pylons down there were for. Now we know. Beautiful. I'll pan down through here so you'll get a taste of what this is going to be like. This will truly be one of the hot spots of this town, if not certainly this part of Europe, and perhaps Europe in general. It's going to be a very impressive view. More whimsy. Spaghetti Bolognese 400 instead of 100 or 200. So Maya at the hostel let me borrow her bicycle for a few hours, and so here I am. I was on the bike path down below, but now to get by the construction I'll go down through the restaurants I was at yesterday, right into the center of town, and then somehow find a way to get back down onto the bike path and continue north. Another part of the fun adventure. There's the stone bridge seen from underneath this bridge. And glorious view of that lion. And then this is the Kala, which I think is closed today because it's a Monday, so I'll go tomorrow. And looking upriver from my bicycle. So far the bike path's a very pretty area. It's old, but well done in its time. Hopefully they'll refurbish it. But very pretty, particularly for the people who live or get access to this, which I assume is everybody, because it's on both sides of the river, the bike path at least. And there are several bridges and pedestrian bridges. This is a pretty little park, Parc de la Francophone. Since there's a French cemetery here, you wonder if there isn't an even greater connection today. I thought I'd climb up here and see what it looks like. All along here for several miles now has been this walkway up here, the bike path down there, and the river to the left. About a mile or so back, it was all park-like, and then we gravitated to what I now see here is pretty much open land. But you can imagine that it's the future of Skopje to develop all out through here, and presumably they will, after they've filled it all in with rubble, they will build park-like features here. And of course someday, when all the major stuff is done perhaps, all that area down there will be converted into park, which is just so obvious and natural. That's a pretty large building, and it's kind of an interesting design. I have to wonder what it was for, or is for. Okay, this looks like the north end of the bike path, although I'll keep going up there and see if it goes any farther. And if it is, it took me less than an hour, half an hour to get. Okay, now I'm pretty much at the end of any semblance of a bike path. Although I will climb up the top and go over to the other side and see if this walkway continues. And the answer is yes, kinda. So we'll go down that dirt path and see how far that goes. But we are now definitely out in the country. Well, this is the end of the road, pretty much. Very much out in the country. Very pretty place, really. And the irony is, wouldn't you swear that this was designed to be a significant road through here? These trees on the side? Maybe it was just a man's entryway to his property decades ago when he planted those trees. Here an RV out of service. So if my Larry of Poland look looks funny to people in general in Skopje or elsewhere, imagine how the three people out sipping coffee thought way down there when they saw me come in and go out. So what I'm going to go back down on the other side, back the other way. Now this side's in very good condition. The area to my right looks like it's set up for a park someday. But here they've provided benches, and here we have old falls and the requisite bottles there. Doing what a kayak will do in a falls situation, except that it may get, if it's deep enough, the falls, actually be churned down underneath. And that's the great danger of it. Great for fishing, apparently. And these buildings suggest that this is an area that could develop fairly soon as the economy rolls back. It's a much prettier, gentler, quieter area than downtown Skopje. Now on this side the quality has changed very rapidly, and we're down to up there, I think a 2-track path. And there's where the bike path on that side so nicely ended. There's where the other river comes in to the Vardar River. And you can see we don't get no respect over on this side. I don't know what I'll be able to follow on the other side when I get over there. On the other side of this incoming river. I'm guessing I can go right through there somehow. Well, I tried to take the easy road, which was down there, but it led only to Channel 5 facility. So now I'm back on this trail. Of course, if I stayed on that side, it would have been very easy. So I was forced up through all that trash because the bike path literally ends here, any semblance of a path. So I copped out and took that pedestrian bridge because I couldn't fathom any way that I could get into this area here. And as you can see, it doesn't look like there's any path there. There may be at this point, but this is also not my bike. If I had my bike, I might try it. So I've come across the bridge, and now I am where somebody's brother-in-law has some clout. And so finally we've got a whole new bike path over here. Well, at least all the clout he needed foiled again. Okay, I finally circumvented that sewer and got back onto this new bike path. Continue up here and notice on the other side that big stadium I'd passed before, but this may be the a little bit better view. And off to my left in a moment I'm going to pan to a recycling center, but this I believe is all the Romani, the gypsies. It's what's left to them. About as far as I can go, and I can't get out of here. I have to backtrack. but some of the things that you'll be able to see as a tourist when you come here. Some of the views that will look prettier the next time I come, or when whoever sees this comes. This is the back of the buildings, the non-riverside portion of those buildings that are being redone. Right nearby, a clock tower and a church, which I'll have to explore later. I'm trying to take whatever route I can find that will get me back along this side of the river. Another view. It would be interesting to know what will be in this narrow space between that building and this building on the left behind this metal barricade. It would be interesting how long it takes for this to turn the ugly color so much turns. Someday this footage will be very unique, believe it or not. The remains here of something that stood behind it, and that new building being built. It may be the opera, oh yeah, Macedonian Opera and Ballet. This is certainly not the tourist tour. At first I thought these might be musical signs, and then the older people down here seem to be very reticent to respond to my good morning. But if you look closely there, you can see some angles that may suggest how that building will look. Presumably this ugly mass of concrete will all be ripped out of here. Who knows what will go in its place. My hostel is just a street down on the right. But I wanted to get a look at these cute little cupola-like things on top. And that building can't be too far from me. I'm going to find it out when I get over there. This would be a nice building for a guest house, I would think. Take a fair amount of